Hello, fellow history explorers, and today, welcome... what was I already messing up? Actually, back it up just slightly. Hello, fellow history explorers, and welcome back to the Abandoned Atlas YouTube channel, where today, we're going to be taking a look at the White Lakes Mall in Topeka, Kansas, where good things happen. Now, if you're already somewhat familiar with White Lakes, you might notice that behind me is not White Lakes. That's right, this is actually a different abandoned mall that we're exploring right now, so if you want to see the history and the full exploration of that one, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we're coming out with that video very soon. But like I said, today we're actually going to be taking a look at the White Lakes Mall in Topeka, Kansas. So when we were researching this building, it was really important to us to take a deep dive into the history and to what made this place so great. And how did this once vibrant mall become a forgotten relic of the past? Well, today we're going to find that out. Now, if you're anything like me, you might be wondering how a mall that was once the lifeblood of Topeka went from this to this, seemingly out of nowhere. Well, while I was exploring the hollow halls of this massive place, I asked myself the same question. So it was time for me to get to the bottom of things. And luckily, I had some help along the way. But before I get into that, let's take a look back at how it all started.
My uncle, Tom Martin, was a contractor, and he built White Lakes. He built Oak Parkway in Kansas City and Rentcraft. He built them all over the nation. People just brought their kids to ride the escalators. It was like the fair ride or something. I mean, they would just go up and down the escalators from one end to the other.
They put up a platform over the pond down there at the Sears end, and that was the stage where they had the phone banks, where you could call in, the phones were ringing, and then they had, a couple of local TV personalities from, say, Channel 13 News. The anchormen were the telephone, MCs.
As I mentioned earlier, White Lakes Mall was the lifeblood of Topeka. After 4 years of construction and $8 million in development, the building opened its doors to the public in 1964. It skyrocketed in popularity with its 500,000 square feet of space that included a 2-story Sears, an auto center, a 2-story JCPenney's, Walgreens, a toy and hobby mart, and many other big brand, big name stores.
And I remember Mr. Penny coming and cutting the ribbon to open the penny store down at the other end. It was a really exciting time.
It was also connected to a Falley's Market, a grocery store near the mall entrance that was accessible from in or outside the mall's doors. One of the star attractions was a feature called The Cage, which actually housed a squirrel monkey for a time and then had live birds. There were also several koi ponds throughout, one with a bridge over it leading into the Sears.
If you grew up in or around Topeka like Jason Pickerel and Patty Lanham, you know what it was like hanging out at White Lakes in the 70s and 80s.
I mean, we liked everything. It was just the place to go.
It was always fun to get out of the small town and come cruising here in Topeka back when I was a teenager.
The mall meant a lot to these two who came down to Topeka on the weekends from their small towns. For Patty, she fatefully met the love of her life, her husband, in the mall's parking lot.
They were supposed to be meeting somebody there, and they thought we were them, and we weren't, and so we started talking.
And, of course, no one forgets the Orange Julius.
It was always a treat, when I was a little kid in the 70s. That was one way my mom was able to lure us to go shopping, because I hated shopping. I would get my Orange Julius, and it made everything better.
I mean, White Lakes Mall in Topeka, Kansas was the first, of its kind. I mean, it's this whole new concept. I mean, people came from all over the Midwest. That was hard to growing up when you talk to people, my age and kids that graduate from high school in the 70s. White Lakes was the thing, and you cruised Topeka Boulevard, and you pulled in the White Lakes parking lot and hung out there and listened to music and talked to friends.
Some of them come out here to party. A lot of people come out here just to meet friends, turn up music, race cars, whatever, however it goes.
That's about the best thing you can do in Topeka on a Friday and Saturday night.
If you'd call the mall office, the main number, they'd answer at White Lakes Mall where good things happen.
So the origins were pretty clear, but I still needed the answer to why everybody seemed to just up and leave this lively mall. Can you tell me what happened to White Lakes? Why did it close? What happened?
it was kind of like the demise of our downtown, because a lot of the retailers and merchants that were in downtown Topeka left downtown Topeka to move to this whole new concept of shopping, moved to White Lakes Mall. Now we're revitalizing downtown. So, I mean, it literally has come full circle from when people left downtown to go to White Lakes. Now everybody's moving back downtown.
The demise of the mall was slow and painful, like many other malls in America. In the late 80s, the Westridge Mall opened and snatched up Sears and JCPenney's from White Lakes. And with the two anchors of the center gone, other mall tenants followed to the newly updated Westridge.
We never moved our business out to the new mall. A lot of people ask, why? Everybody's leaving White Lakes. Why aren't you going out there? I mean, the rent was just, beyond ridiculous. I mean, it just wasn't an affordable option to go out there.
By 2000, most of the stores had moved out, and the mall was converted into an office complex.
Blue Cross Blue Shield was out there for a period of time, and then other shops there were turned into really some kind of office space for some folks, and we continued to, hang on, kept our business out there for many years beyond. Probably stayed out there too long.
7 years later, the office spaces were abandoned and the building was sold to Kent Lindermuth, who proposed plans to demolish the southern part of the mall for new retail and office spaces.
It was too much. And then, when everybody had good intentions, the next person it sold to or the next management company always said, we're going to come in and we're going to revamp this and we're going to remodel. And then I think once they got into it and saw, really how much it was going to cost, it was just cost prohibitive.
Unfortunately, he filed for bankruptcy in 2012 and the mall was left to the dust and cobwebs.
It had too many repairs. It would have cost an absolute fortune to repair and take all the asbestos out, and it would have needed to be gutted right down to the steel girders, I think, because it was so ill-kept that it was its own demise.
To me, it looked like the demise of this mall was just like hundreds of other malls that have fallen victim to instant gratification, online shopping, and other city developments, including this mall. And just like those malls, it seemed like White Lakes was just swept under the rug. But to be honest, I wasn't totally satisfied with that answer, and it led me to more questions. How did it fall into such disrepair so quickly?
Crews battled a large blaze early Tuesday at the mostly empty White Lakes Mall in South Topeka. Flames and heavy smoke were pouring out of the roof of the building when crews arrived on the scene around 6:45 a.m.
When the fire hit, there was no turning back, after that.
Firefighters were called to the scene, but unable to enter.
Due to the nature of where the fire started and the age of the building, we are not allowing our firefighters to get inside.
Sadly, all they could do was wait for the flames to flicker out, and with them was the last hopes of anything becoming of the now abandoned White Lakes Mall. Learning the truth of the building's end was painful, but luckily, we were able to get inside to document the buildings just before the fire destroyed so much of it. All of my questions were getting answers, but I had just one more. What happened after the fire, and what was the future of this building going to look like? Well, as we were driving to go check on the abandoned mall once again, it looked like we made it just on time. What I saw when I got there shocked me. The wrecking ball took down the first wall of the once famous mall in March of 2022. But the demolition stopped after splitting the mall in half, and the building is once again rotting away, exposed to the elements.
And they finally, tore it down. But what's left out there on the White Lakes property is what was Sears. That automotive center is still there, and everything else has been torn down.
A glorious building fading away, a blazing fire burning it down, and a demolition stopped halfway through. White Lakes Mall has quite the tale, and a future that remains uncertain. I'm glad we had the opportunity to learn about this amazing place with the help of Linda and Susie Hoffman, and I'm hopeful that there may still be something great in store for its future. Even though the White Lakes Mall was demolished, doesn't mean its memories and legacy won't live on in the hearts of the people who brought it to life and made good things happen.
The people that you met out there, I mean, we still talk about people that worked at Sears. I mean, everybody, they were like a big, like a family of sorts. And what was super cool, it's like, you know, during the lunch hour on Saturday, you know, the big, busiest, you know, day of the week, you know, for retailers, it's like the store manager from Penny's would come down and have lunch at Sears and sit at a table with the store manager from his, you know, really his arch rival from Sears. So the two store managers, Sears and Penny's, my grandma, you know, an owner of a business, they'd all sit there and they'd talk shop.
It was truly heartbreaking for us and for so many others to see what happened to the White Lakes Mall and the condition it was when it was demolished. And if you want to see more videos like it and do a full exploration of this mall that we're in right now, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you have any guesses as to where I am right now today, be sure to leave a comment. And if you have any history about White Lakes Mall, we'd love to see those in the comments as well. So, until the next video, keep exploring.